So here we go. The Shelton Metropolitan Park District meeting is called to order. If anyone attending meeting here in the council chambers would like to borrow some amplifying phones, please let us know. No, okay. Donna, will you do roll call, please?
I will. We have Councilmember Bode attending via Zoom. Okay, feel unmute. Hi, okay. Board Member Sherman,
Here.
President Gutierrez,
Aquí estoy.
Board Member Nesco,
Here.
Board Member Schmidt,
Here.
Board Clerk McDowell,
Present.
and Board Member Peterson.
Here.
Thank you, Donna. Has everyone reviewed the items on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Joe or is that?
Let's go.
Whoa, did all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are recessing the special meeting to open a public hearing on our business agenda. Public hearing is, we're gonna hear from Finance Director Mike Givens for the 2024 preliminary budget.
Thank you, President, Board Clerk, and members of the board. We have a preliminary budget for the Shelton Metropolitan Park District for you this evening. To establish the 2024 budget, we're proposing a revenue budget in the amount of $629,385. And this increase is just 2.8% from what the 2023 budget was. And that's what you're seeing on the screen here. It's a dollar increase of just over $17,000. For the operation of Parks and Recreation in 2024, we're projecting expenses at $793,158. And the breakdown is $100,000, just over $100,000 for recreation and just over $693,000 for parks maintenance. I will tell you with this first preliminary budget, we've already got some changes, and that is a couple of vehicles that we had ordered came in the once the budget was published, and so we're going to amend this just a bit because, as you know, the Metropolitan Park District pays the city for the services, and that will happen in first quarter of 2024. So the city has paid for the vehicle, and then the Park District will reimburse. So I need to make that slight change. So there'll be a little bit of a change to allow that so that the Park District has the capacity for next year. You'll notice that the expenses projected for the 2024 budget exceed the revenue, but we maintain an ending cash balance that is in compliance with the goals that we have to maintain that percentage of expenditures. Some capital projects for 2024 in the budget include, and I think this is a project was anticipated in 2023 and didn't entirely happen, and that's the design for the Simpson Railroad Trail design. There's a park impact fee study project in here, and then the North Cliff Neighborhood Park Phase 2 improvements will be happening. So those are the capital projects in the 2024 budget that total $160,000. And as I mentioned, we're projecting an ending fund balance of just over $429,300. And that rounds out our proposal for the 2024 budget for the Shelton Metropolitan Park District.
Thank you, Mike. Is there any public testimony? Don, has anyone signed up for public testimony?
No, there is.
All right, is there a motion?
I moved forward the 2024 budget resolution to November 21st SMPD meeting for further consideration, action, and to allow the public another opportunity to comment on the resolution under consideration.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Can I Can I make a comment or ask a question? Not yet.
We have public testimony coming
Okay.
up.
All right.
so you can- you
No,
can
she-
get the-
no,
you
she
wanna
can-
talk about
she
it?
can comment.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay, so I have two questions. Mark, what's happening with Eagle Point?
Eagle Point is kind of to bed right now. We had the preliminary design done nearly 2 years now, I believe, and the cost estimate was about $1.4 million to construct that project. So we don't have the resources to move forward with that project at this point.
All right, thank you. And what are our plans with the railroad tracks? Once they're pulled up, is there a plan?
Not necessarily at this point. I think that there's some budget indicated in the parks budget next year to do some preliminary planning. Again, it's not construction at all. We're continuing to seek opportunities, which may include removing the tracks and ties next year, and at least having a gravel path and gravel pathway that's more accessible and leads us to maybe envisioning more so what it might look like as a trail. But also, we have talked to our state representation, and they may be interested in participating in at least the design phase next year as well, with some skin in the game from the city and from the Parks Department. So that's probably what we're looking at. So again, some preliminary design and then removal of tracks and ties to make it accessible and traversable by the general public.
Have you ever thought about the ties or the tracks being on the sides to enclose border the trail? Instead of,
You mean between the rails
well,
themselves?
you pull them all up and then you have this gravel trail.
Mhm.
Can you put the rails on the sides? Like edging?
Oh, I'm not
Well,
sure.
anyway,
Yeah,
it's just a-
yes, I think we'll come up, we'll find somebody that has experience in trail construction and design. And come up with some ideas with participation from the council as well as the community to find what the needs are and what the
Yeah.
best fit for our communities.
I think where you were going with that is just making sure to incorporate as much of the history and heritage of the community and the trail development.
Absolutely.
Right.
If we can repurpose the tracks for
Yeah.
benches and things like that, that would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of history there.
We'll seek all those out. There's certainly an asset there.
Thank you, Joe.
As a recyclable material and an asset that could fund part of the project, but we certainly want to be conscious of the historical use of that property
Mhm.
and honor that and recognize that in perpetuity.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, well, this is a public hearing is closed, and we're opening another public meeting, and so. Mike has information for us about the 2024 ad valorem taxes.
Yes, thank you. So we're fortunate in the city of Shelton to have the Metropolitan Park District that has this dedicated funding source to fund our Parks and Recreation program. This is the part where we actually set the levy to collect the property taxes. And you'll hear me say this a little later tonight. We don't have final assessed value numbers from the assessor. So we're using preliminary numbers. We don't have, part of that calculation involves a figure for new construction and state assessed utilities. So we're using an approximate number. We hope to have that for, of course, the 21st meeting when we have to legally by statute set the property tax levy by November 30th. So after tonight's meeting, I'll be in communication with the assessor's office, and we'll either have to set a special meeting to get this done or seek some advisement from them on when they anticipate being able to certify. They had indicated they'd be able to get us numbers by the middle of November, but we're on such a time schedule and having to advertise this and allow for proper public comment that it puts us in kind of a difficult position to get the packet out to you and the public. So we'll have more information about that. So this is taking the property tax levy, increasing it by 1%. And then that allows us to collect the property taxes to fund the Metropolitan Park District. And that's what you have before you.
Right. The motions.
I move that we forward resolution number SMPD 39-0923 to the November 21, 2023 SMPD agenda for further consideration.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And,
Excuse me, Mr.
oh,
President.
sorry, I need to ask board members
Okay.
first.
Okay.
And public testimony. Oh, that's right. Has anyone signed up for public testimony, Donna? Okay, so no, so thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Member Sherman. Now I'd like to know if anyone had any comments. Oh, question.
Can you talk a little bit, you brought up a really interesting point about not having assessed value data and the criticality of that when it comes to us planning our budgets. Can you talk a little bit about that, and why that is necessary, and typically, you know, what do you know about this delay from the assessor's office?
Well, I don't know a lot. I know it's been a year where I think a lot of changes are happening. I can speculate probably some more appeals by citizens, and so this is taking them longer to close the rolls and really finalize that. And they do like to leave those open as long as possible, so that assessed value number we're given is as accurate as possible. So they're trying their best to make sure that they're capturing the assessed value at what it actually is. So if they're going to allow some appeals to decrease that property value, then they don't want us to overstate it. So part of it is involved in that, and leaving those roles open as long as possible to accommodate citizen appeals.
If we don't know what the assessed value is, then essentially we can't budget.
Right, we need that certified number in order to calculate the 1% increase, and then the factor for new construction and state assessed utilities.
Once
So
again,
no one can.
our reliance on our partners, other electeds in the county government to step up and do the job. So, yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Do you have any idea when that might be? When
They indicated by the middle of November, so we were getting through this meeting, I'll reach out tomorrow and can find out where they're at, because we have our next packet due for you all in the public this Thursday, and so if we don't have it by then, I'll have to meet with the city manager, and we'll have to make a decision if we have a special meeting. Well, we'll have to have a special meeting in order to get this done and kind of get an indication from the assessor when they'll have it, because we need to schedule that when they'll certify those values to us. So if it's possibly on November 28th would be our last chance really to do that in order to meet the RCW, which requires us to have those by November 30th.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the preliminary numbers were around $11,000. Is that about?
Of an increase.
Of an increase, okay. And then we've got like 10,000 or more people in this Parks District. So the 1% increase is really maybe $1 per person
Well, household.
or household. I know, but
not person.
just saying. And, but I'm just saying that's kind of a bargain considering the inflation rate, and also how much we brought back to the city, how the mayor, we all did, and the staff got the concerts and music in the parks back. And also the movies in parks and all the different things that we started. And I just was, but it's still not enough for what we're gonna cover in the shortfalls in the future. So I'm encouraged, but I'm also like, we need to do more if we're gonna make up the deficits we might have in the future. So I was a little concerned, but as of now, it looks like we can move forward, and it's not gonna be a terrible increase. It's just the 1%, and it's about $1 per person, but per household might be more. So anyway, just wanted to put it out there. Thanks. And is there any more other comments? No. So we have a motion and a second for resolution number SMPD 39-0923 to the November 21st, 2023 SMPD meeting for the consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public meeting is closed, and we will resume special meeting. The action agenda, part B, there are actually no items here for action. However, Jordan has an administration report.
Thank you, board. Real quick, just a couple updates. I brought to you a couple weeks ago, the parcel piece of the North Cliff Park Just want to give you an update on that. Hopefully by next week is when we're finalizing that surplus of that sliver of property, which is exciting, to do that. And then the other one is the installation of the playground. We are scheduled for installation December 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we are looking for volunteers. We're gonna do some social media on that this week to start looking for some volunteers to help with that installation. We're really excited. So that's all I kind of got for you tonight. Unless you have questions.
Any questions for Jordan?
Is that gonna be metal?
Metal, plastic, yeah, it's composite
Okay.
structure.
Yeah, any other general public comments? All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So. The last point is, well, I have a question for council member, the Lions Club.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to thank you and the members of the Lions Club for the pickleball and basketball court that we've renovated, and also the space we have there for the Shelton Farmers Market. I also wanted to thank the Rotary Club for the Huff and Puff Trail, adopting it, and also the Youth Connection for adopting Teresa Johnson Trail. And if I forgot anybody, please let me know. I'd like to congratulate everyone who's taking interest in our parks and helping out and volunteering and making the shortfall a little bit less and making our community a little bit better and the volunteerism that we're having in the community. So I'd just like to encourage that and let people know and thank people and have gratitude to create that atmosphere where people want to compete to be a little bit better. So that's my comment. And now the next meeting is going to be on November 21st at 5:45 p.m. at here, the water bill building. So that we adjourn, this meeting is adjourned at 6:03 p.m.